Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. A major blow to the Trump campaign this morning. It looks like the former president will not be on Colorado's primary ballot. We'll tell you why. The state's highest court disqualified him from the race. And another hearing reset for former Industrial ISD athletes. This marks the second reset since the athletes' original court hearing earlier this year. Plus, top leaders join the family of former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor in celebrating her life and legacy at her funeral service. We have the story.
And we're going to have some more nice warm weather for the rest of this week, but we're going to have an uptick in the rain coming our way right before the holidays. We'll take a look at that in the weather coming up.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it is National Go Caroling Day. So a little bit of a fun fact for us this morning.
Go caroling, Carolina.
The only difference is that G at the end.
Yeah.
But early Christians took over the pagan winter solstice celebration, which is actually tomorrow, for Christmas, and gave people Christian songs to sing instead of the pagan songs. So it was an important part of dominating the culture.
And that's tomorrow?
Winter solstice is tomorrow.
Oh, I was just about to say, yeah, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first day of winter, if you believe that.
I know. And I'm excited because winter solstice is a time to collect intentions for the next year.
Ooh, yeah. Make your plans for New Year's. New Year's resolutions.
Well, Parker, is it going to be a good day to be caroling out there?
Yes. I mean, yes, a good day to go caroling, I might say, but picking up in rain chances later this week. In fact, if you're waking up this morning, or if you're just tuning in, look at a live look at Eastern Victoria, where you can see that cloud cover kind of starting to pick up out there. Actually kind of looks a little scary. I don't know. I promise that there's no storms or anything out there. It just looks like kind of some spooky clouds. But good morning, folks. A little chilly out there this morning, starting out at about 58 degrees this morning. So a little bit chilly, but more like a mild chilly out there right now. 55 dew point, though, bringing that humidity to a 90%. So it is a little humid out there. In fact, it's humid enough to where you might see some dew on your windshield. I saw some on my windshield. I had to use my wipers, but not humid enough to create any fog. If you take a look across the board, all in the low 90s. Now, I don't know what's going on with Refugio. I think their gauge is messed up because there's not really foggy over there. I just checked. So not really expecting any fog this morning, but if you do see any, it'll be really thin and it'll be out of our area by sunrise. But let's take a look at the Doppler because we think we might see a couple isolated showers. Maybe if you get lucky if you see a couple showers, but really right now, quite quiet out there right now. But as we take a look at the future tracker here, we're thinking those showers might start developing and become a little bit more widespread going into the late morning and the afternoon hours. You can see a couple showers out there in the crossroads. But if you, like I said, you'd be really lucky if you did see any today, because tomorrow's a much better shot at seeing some showers starting in the morning. We'll probably get a good shot. Some forming around the coast here, becoming a little bit more widespread going into the afternoon. And also going to be a nice day today, right back in the 70s. But coming up a little bit, we're going to take a look at those temperatures for the rest of this week and the rain chances right before the holidays. And that's coming up in just a moment. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Colorado Supreme Court moves to kick Donald Trump off the state's 2024 primary ballot. A ruling Tuesday. Colorado's highest court disqualifies Trump on 14th Amendment grounds, citing Trump's role in the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. The ruling marks the first time a 14th Amendment challenge to Trump's candidacy has proven successful. However, the court's decision is now on hold until January 4th to allow for an appeal. The Trump campaign calls the decision completely flawed and vowed a swift appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll go to Washington for a closer look at the court's decision later on Sunrise. Several states in the Northeast remain under flood alerts in the wake of Monday's extraordinary storm. In places like Little Falls, New Jersey, river levels are nearing their crest in flood-vulnerable areas. Across the Northeast, at least 5 people died from falling trees and flooding, including a 76-year-old woman who was swept away in New York. 4 former Industrial ISD baseball players appeared in court yesterday, only for the court to reset the hearing yet again. 25 News Now reporter Darius McCormick has followed the legal proceedings since July. He tells us the court reset the hearing for March 7th of next year. This marks the court's second reset in a matter of months. Christopher McRory, Cullen Stumful, Braxton Warren, and Zach Cookler all face charges of engaging in organized criminal assault. They are accused of assaulting another teammate on a bus as they returned from an away game on April 27th. Industrial ISD says the coaches immediately discussed the incident with administration, but the victims' parents did not like the district's response.
Not from a coach, not from an administrator. And I think the $64,000 question is, who ultimately decided on the punishment?
Both attorneys did not share the details of the assault or what actually happened on the bus. Defense attorney Brent Dornberg downplayed the situation to a little horseplay. The victim's family says otherwise. 25 News Now has reached out to both attorneys about the second reset, and neither of them have responded at this time, but we plan to continue coverage in the future. Reports show an increase of the sexually transmitted disease syphilis over the past few years, and not just here in South Texas, but nationwide. Experts say awareness of preventative methods will help prevent the spread.
What's happened is this led to some shortages in treatment mechanisms and treatment pharmaceuticals. So we're seeing that right now, so it's really, really important that folks are aware, have those safe practices to prevent the spread of syphilis.
Syphilis spreads through sexual contact, and experts say a mother can also pass the disease to her unborn child. For more information on syphilis, vaccines, or any other health concern, contact the Victoria County Health Department at 361-576-6261. Mourners in Washington, D.C. gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of the late Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. The funeral service took place at Washington's National Cathedral and was attended by President Joe Biden. The current members of the Supreme Court and O'Connor's family. O'Connor, who died December 1st at the age of 93, made history as the first woman to serve on the nation's high court. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on our Wednesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Southwest Airlines and the union representing the Airlines Pilots Association reached a preliminary agreement.
The Trump campaign is vowing a Supreme Court fight against a lower court ruling the former president can't appear on election ballots in that state. I'm ABC's Justin Finch with more on why and the fight ahead from Washington.
And coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your fishing forecast, that hours report as well. And later on Sunrise, we'll take a look at your travel forecast for the holidays. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're all waking up with us this morning, or if you're just tuning in, look at a live look at Cuervo. Look at that. A nice sky, pretty blue sky. Actually, I think that's a star right there, right above my head there, which is kind of weird because it's a little bit cloudy out there this morning, but also a little bit chilly, but not too bad. More like a mild chilly. 55 out there in the Cuervo area, and I put Gonzales up there because it's the closest town to Cuervo. That isn't Victoria, but with a dew point of 53, just 2 degrees off from that temperature. You got a 94% humidity, but it's not enough to create fog. You really start seeing fog at about 95% higher, so you might start seeing see some dew on your windshields this morning. But if you do see some fog, it'll be really thin. Please be careful on the roads this morning. But it's going to be nice. Another nice warm day today, right back in the 70s. Making a good day to go fishing. We'll take a look at your forecast here for fishing. If you're going fishing today, your high tide will be about 10:16 a.m. this morning, and about a few hours here, and another one at 9 p.m. this evening with another low tide about 2:48 p.m. because we just had another one a couple hours ago. With your winds about 10 knots out of the east-southeast, making your bay and seas pretty smooth today, but with the pollen in the area today, it's going to be a little windy, not too bad though. Moderate tree pollen today, and grass and ragweed are non-existent. Coming up a little bit, we'll take a look at those rain chances. It's going to pick up later in this weekend. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Turning to the landmark Colorado Supreme Court decision that could impact Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, the court narrowly ruling that the U.S. Constitution's insurrection clause deems Trump ineligible to appear on the state's primary ballot because of his role in the January 6th Capitol riot.
This morning, the Trump campaign fighting an historic decision. The Colorado Supreme Court ruling the U.S. Constitution's insurrection clause bars the former president from appearing on the state's ballot.
They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you.
The Republican frontrunner at an Iowa rally not mentioning the ruling. Trump has already faced 14th Amendment lawsuits in several other states. This is the first time he's lost, and also the first time the 14th Amendment has been used to disqualify a presidential candidate. That clause bars a candidate from holding office if they took an oath to support the Constitution, but then engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. The lower court in Colorado finding Trump engaged in an insurrection, but stopped short of applying the clause's definition of a U.S. officer to the President of the United States. In a 4-3 decision, the Colorado Supreme Court reversing that decision. One of the three dissenting justices writing, the majority's opinion flies in the face of the due process doctrine. The Trump campaign saying it's appealing the decision to the U.S. Supreme Court, but the high court's ruling may not have a nationwide impact.
The thing to keep in mind is, even if the court sets a standard on what the definition is of an insurrection and whether the president is an officer, that wouldn't necessarily affect all of the states, because each state has different laws for how you get on the ballot.
The Republican National Committee plans to help with Trump's legal fees, calling the decision election interference. The Colorado Supreme Court stayed its decision until January 4th, or when the Supreme Court rules. State election officials say the issue must be settled by January 5th, the ballot printing deadline. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Time is now 6:44 on our Wednesday morning. Still to come. In a joint statement, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell say that they will not reach a deal on immigration this week. In a joint statement Tuesday evening, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said senators will not reach a deal on immigration this week. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, who is at the negotiating table for border talks, said it will take weeks to reach a deal. Schumer said the Senate is now pushing negotiations over the larger national security package with aid for Ukraine and Israel to early next year. This week, the White House warned that an aid package scheduled for Ukraine later this month will be the country's last this year without a deal from Congress. Even after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with congressional leaders last week in an effort to make his case directly to lawmakers. In D.C., the Senate unanimously passed the reauthorization of the Federal Aviation Administration on Tuesday in the chamber's final vote of the year. The FAA Reauthorization Act was introduced this summer. It includes key tools and programs to address airport planning, equipment, operations, and safety. The legislation was on hold by Colorado Democratic Senator Michael Bennet, who was demanding a vote on more aid for Ukraine. He dropped the hold after Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell vowed to address Bennett's demands in early 2024. In the meantime, ahead for Wednesday, the Senate will go into session for what Schumer called housekeeping. A judge has ordered Representative Scott Perry to turn over more than 1,600 cell phone communications to federal prosecutors in Donald Trump's 2020 election subversion case. The Tuesday court decision comes after a months-long battle over which of Perry's cell phone messages could be accessible to investigators. The judge is allowing Perry to protect about 400 records directly related to votes he would take, including certifying the 2020 election result. Perry's team has not yet responded to the new order. They previously delayed the special counsel's office from accessing any of the messages with an appeal following the FBI's court-approved seizure of Perry's phone. The migrant surge is being fueled by pseudo-legitimate travel agencies that are connecting passengers to smugglers. That's from a U.S. Customs and Border Protection leader who said the smugglers are facilitating the illegal crossings of up to 1,000 people at a time. Leaders say one nationality falling victim is the Senegalese. The agencies are advertising free visa travel to Europe and then to the U.S. The smuggling organizations are using large bus lines in Mexico's northern state of Sonora to move the migrants to random spots on the border. Tuesday, about 12,600 migrants were apprehended at the border within a 24-hour period. And what has become a tradition since 1989, the H-E-B Feast of Sharing plans to feed several families this holiday season. Yesterday, crews found themselves busy setting up tables and putting up decorations at the Victoria Community Center. It takes place today from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay. And let's go ahead and take a look at our forecast with Parker. Parker, you said that it's not gonna rain too hard on us today. Maybe a few little specks here and there?
No, yeah, we're not thinking it's going to rain too much this morning, Carolina. Maybe a couple isolated showers. In fact, you'd be really lucky if you see any showers this morning. But good morning, folks. If y'all waking this morning, go live look at Eastern Victoria. Look at that cloud cover. I think a nice, pretty morning, but 57 is starting out today. A little bit chilly, but not too bad. But like I was saying, we're thinking we might see a couple showers, maybe, especially tomorrow. But you see, look at the radar, nothing really right now. But if you look at the future tracker here, we're thinking maybe a couple showers might start developing in the later morning hours and going into the afternoon. As you can see, maybe a couple isolated showers this morning, but tomorrow is the better shot, a little bit better shot at some showers. But take a look at what's going on for the rest of this week here. Got a high pressure in the Dixie Valley right now, just moved out of the Gulf. It's going to move northeast just a little bit, which is keeping us in that southerly flow, keeping us in the 70s for the rest of this week. But after that pushes off just a little bit more northeast, we're going to have a weak low. It's going to develop right over the Rocky Mountains. That's going to slowly push eastbound, maybe a little bit east-northeast, and that's going to be our next rainmaker coming later this week. But then after that pushes off and dissipates, this is the next one coming our way right on Christmas Eve. We've got a good shot at some rain on Christmas Eve, maybe even some thunderstorms. If you take a look at the 7-day here, going to stick around in the low 70s for the rest of this week before those showers are going to be on the pickup for this weekend.
All right, thank you, Parker.
Of course, Carolina.
And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join us tonight at 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. And don't forget, go caroling.